Spitty Will.
Yes, sir.
Father, what's going on? How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm feeling great, bro. I can't complain.
Man. Come
How
on,
you
man.
feeling?
Great, bro. Great. In a great mood, bro. I'm glad you're here with me, man.
Yes,
for
sir.
sure, for sure. Let's talk to him, Spitty Will. You living or you surviving?
Man, I'm living, bro.
Come on.
I'm living with intention.
That's right.
I think if you would have asked me this question a year, maybe 2 years ago, the answer would have been surviving.
Wow.
Definitely was just sort of living in the moment, sort of going through the motions.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But I've made it a point to live with intentions and to move with intentions.
That's right.
And so, yeah, man, I would definitely say, man, I'm living.
Welcome to the Integrity Response with your brother CEO Khacki. Every individual sitting across from me doesn't believe in being typical, ordinary, or familiar. They're elite, meaning society's norms don't sit well with them. They believe in raising the bar for themselves, family, and for those they may never meet. From those in humble beginnings to those in the midst of greatness and legends who've paved the way. With a comedic edge, I will ask the questions that hold value, and I believe we'll gain insight to the real them. It's the Integrity Response.
Spitty Will, let's take it back, man. Let's take it back.
Yes, sir.
Before entrepreneurship.
Yep.
Before becoming a major music label marketing manager. At the age of 9, what did you want to be?
Man, at the age of 9, you know, it's crazy. I knew at a young age that I wanted to work at Def Jam,
Gotcha.
and I knew that I wanted to write for the Source magazine.
Wow.
Those were two things that I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do.
Right.
I mean, on the tip of writing, I knew I wanted to, you know, tap into journalism, but I fell in love with hip hop, you know, so young, and seeing Russell Simmons doing what he was doing, I said, like, man, all right, I got to go to college, and that's how I'm gonna get into the music industry, because I saw Russell Simmons started Def Jam by, you know, going to college and meeting Rick Rubin in the dorms.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
Come on, man. That's so true. So true.
Yeah, man.
You grew up Milwaukee.
Yeah, man.
Come
Milwaukee,
on, man.
Wisconsin.
That's right. And you labeled this, man. You considered it. Most people would look at it like it was a walk in the park. You consider it a war zone.
Yeah, nah, man. Milwaukee is definitely, I mean, it's one of the most, how can I say it? It's one of the most segregated cities in the U.S.
Gotcha.
It's like top 2, top 3. It's listed as the #1 worst city for a black man, you know, to grow up in. So our incarceration rate is so high there.
Gotcha.
So, you know, Milwaukee's a war zone for real. I grew up on 22nd and Townsend, Section 8 housing. You know, we grew up humble, we grew up poor, but I didn't know that we were poor.
It was your norm.
Yeah, it was the norm.
Right.
And my partners in the neighborhood, they was going through and dealing with the same thing. So none of us really knew. But you know, my house was full of love, man. There was a lot of love. My mom's, you know, made sure to treat me and my brother just with a lot of respect, and she raised us on, you know, like real principles.
That's
you
right,
know
bro.
what I mean?
That's right. And is this your older or younger brother?
Older brother.
Gotcha. That's what's up,
Yeah,
man.
so.
Is he actually still back in Milwaukee, or he migrated here?
No. He's out in LA.
Gotcha,
so,
for sure. That's what's
man.
up.
So
Gotcha.
we all over.
Good
man.
vacation spot. You know, that's real. That's real, bro.
And older brother, he's like a pops to me. Like he basically raised me.
That's real, bro. Real. Did you play any sports or anything growing up?
Yeah, man. I played football.
Come on now. Come on. That's what's up. What position?
Yeah, middle linebacker.
Gotcha, for sure. For sure. Did something started from rec league to middle school to high school, or?
Yeah, it was. So I mean, wanted to play football isn't AAU. Football is Pop Warner.
Gotcha.
So wanted to play Pop Warner. My mom's was really strict, so I wasn't allowed to, you know, like be too far from the house for too long. So I started really playing football in high school.
Gotcha.
It was a natural thing. I was really good at it. And then my brother was real good. He was a football star, track star in the city, you know, years before. So he prepared me for all of that.
Gotcha. So I'm assuming he's at least 5 years older.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just
8 years older.
Gotcha. The father figure. That's real. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite subject? What's some
favorite subject? I've always been into writing, so I would say like English was always like one of my favorite classes. social studies, like I always liked learning about history and culture and you know, things like that. And then like business classes too, because I went to a trade and technical high school, but then we took different tech courses, trade courses, and you know, things like that.
Gotcha.
So I was always
just
into
like that. So you said tech and music. That's where everything started.
Yeah,
just like
for
that.
sure.
Gotcha. So what drew that? You know, tech. Was it because of high school, or you always was into that as well?
I was always into that.
Gotcha.
I was always the cat, like taking apart the TV, putting it back together. I remember my mom's had like an old computer that like hooked up to our TV, and you had to like type in these codes like to get the games to work or to get like the different parts of that computer to work. And I would like sit up and learn like all this code and manipulate the computer to do whatever like I wanted it to do. So it was just like computers, technology, like that stuff was always just something I was into. I'd take apart the record player, mess with that, take that apart, put it back together, you know what I mean, and have it back playing before my mama came home.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's dope, bro. That's dope. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So let's take your fans, your supporters with you. Fill in the blank. In high school, I was known as the kid that...
For high school, I was known as the kid that was always up on the latest music.
Real.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you was that guy.
Yeah, I was always the dude that knew of the new music that was coming out. All my family was from Memphis, so I spent a lot of time in Memphis growing up. So then I would go to Memphis for the summers. Get in tune with all this 3-6 Mafia music, all the music coming from Texas and all of that. And so then I would bring it back up to the mill, and I would just that was my thing. And then I got a computer in high school too, which in them days when I was in high school,
it sounds crazy, but like they know I had a computer in high school. That's real.
Computers was rare.
That's
like
a fact,
you
bro.
was, you know, I was probably one of the only cats on my block with a computer. You know what I mean? And so from there, I started learning how to burn CDs. And then I started making my own mix CDs. So then I was bringing those to school.
Real.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
What's up, bro? Like in high school, take your fans back. When you was in high school, what was that dream car of yours? You was like, when you was in high school, like, when I grow up, that's the car I'm going to get.
Man, my dream car was a Cadillac.
Come on now. That's real, bro.
I mean, that, you know what I'm saying? Like that. And to this day, you know, Cadillac is still my favorite car.
Is it because of, you know, Motor City Midwest? Is this a thing where that was prominent there too?
For sure. Because of that, I mean, you seeing the cats in the neighborhood rolling in they lacs, or they old school deuce and a quarters, or Park Avenues, you know, all that. And so, I mean, because that lifestyle, like the whole like pimping lifestyle and just what embodies the Midwest. I mean, that was, you know, heavy up there in Milwaukee too. So cats would be rocking their furs, riding in their lacs, you know, having some beautiful women around them, you know, just so for us, you know, those was the neighborhood superstars. That was what we looked up to. So I wanted to have, you know, a fly outfit, you know, a nice Cadillac, something clean.
That's real,
you know,
bro. That's real. For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
What type of what was your first job?
My first job was man, it's funny. So I remember I wanted cable TV in the house, and my mom's was like, "Yeah, if you want cable, you need cable money then."
Go ahead now.
And so, so my partner was telling me about this job at this restaurant. He was a busboy at this restaurant. So I got my first job was at Manning's restaurant. I was in the 8th grade. I lied and said I was 16. And got a job. Was a busboy, and I ended up. One day, moms came home and they was installing cable in the house, and she was about to go crazy.
I even ordered this.
Right.
That's crazy. But you even take it upon yourself to do that as well. Like,
for sure.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to do it.
For sure. Because, you know, like I said, we grew up poor, or grew up humble. I hate saying the word poor.
I know what you're saying, bro. You know, I do. Yeah, that's almost a mindset. It's not even a
exactly,
real, bro. I understand
man. And one thing that I've learned too in this time of living with intention is how important words are.
That's a fact, bro.
And how heavy, you know, words can be, and how they can direct your life in certain ways. So so I try not to say certain words, you know, to not embody, like, you know, what that is.
Definitely, bro.
But growing up humble, I mean, I didn't know that we didn't really have it like that. I just thought my mom's was mean. You know what I mean? When she would tell me no to certain things, I just thought she was just being mean, until one day I asked her something about cable, and she made a remark like, we ain't got no money for no cable. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. So to get some of these things that I want, like, I just need my own money? Huh. Wow. Okay. All right, bet. I can do that.
I can do that. That's real.
I can do that.
Is Manny still around today?
Manning's is not around today, but it was one of the top. It was one of the top restaurants, like banquet halls. You know what I'm saying, like up there in the mill. And everybody used to like have a football banquet or a school banquet like at that spot. So
before we move on to your college,
yes sir.
If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self some advice, what would it have been?
You said my 18-year-old self?
Yes.
I would say live with no fear.
Real.
Live with no fear, because even though I've been blessed to have done a lot of great things in my life, I'll definitely say that fear has also fueled a lot of things in my life and have maybe held me back in certain things in my life. And I'm also very critical of myself too.
Gotcha. Okay. Which is, it could be a good thing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Biggest critic.
Yeah,
gotcha.
For sure.
But you're saying fear is.
Yeah, I would say like move with no fear. If I could go and tell a younger version of me, I would say move even more with less fear.
Real. You know? Respect that. Respect that. So now we move on. This is when we move on to the University of Minnesota. Twin Cities.
Yes, sir.
How was that transition? I looked on the map. This is about a 4 or 5 hour drive.
Yeah.
Going a little bit west.
Yep.
How
a little bit northwest.
Right. How was that transition? Like you leaving the crib, like, you know, moving to a whole other city.
It was a culture shock.
Real.
It was a culture shock, and people probably wouldn't believe that, because most people, they almost mistake Milwaukee with Minneapolis, or when they the city sound the same, and you know, all of that. But it was a culture shock, because being in Milwaukee where it was so segregated, but then going to Minneapolis where, I mean, you have over north in Minneapolis, huge, you know, black community. Over south, same thing, but it's smaller pockets. And so then for the most part, you know, you're around white folks. You know what I mean? And dealing with racism more direct than how I had to deal with it, you know, coming up in Milwaukee. So it was a culture shock, man. It was definitely different, but it was something that I needed, because I've always, you know, I used to be against like HBCUs some years back, and not against them in a negative way, but I used to say that I felt
understand. Like, why are you why does it have to be segregated?
Right.
Let's come out the comfort zone, out of the shell. Let's embody what we're, like you said, fear.
Yeah, exactly. And too, I felt like the world isn't all black. So like, if I go to this school that's all black, when I get into the real world, is that gonna actually prepare me for the real world? You know what I mean? And that's not my mindset anymore. Like, I'm all for HBCUs and all about like black people being around each other, empowering other black people, and being motivation for each other. But back then, that was how I thought. So that was why I went to Minnesota. I was like, I don't want to go to a black school and have to live a life that's not a reality when I get into the real world.
And that's crazy, because you also spoke on fear, but you, even at 18, 19, you already was embodying fearlessness.
Yeah,
I want to go where I'm not comfortable. And embody something totally different. And look what that does. But you're saying it, you're proof like that, living outside those norms.
Nah, absolutely.
That's real, bro.
I had to get out of the war zone. Like, I keep, you know, saying that like about my neighborhood, but that's so real to like my mindset back then. I was like, I gotta get out of this war zone by any means. You know what I mean?
And you got your marketing and
economics degree.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. And how was that? Because I have a marketing degree, so that actually, so you know what that embodies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And coming up, you were hitting the ground running with marketing. Learning magazines, shooting blast emails. You know, trying to, you know, land a job after college.
Absolutely.
How was that grind? And
so in college, in college, I tried to play football. That didn't work out. Started throwing parties, started DJing.
Gotcha.
Me and my partner started throwing parties. We're throwing like the hottest parties on campus.
For sure.
NCAA came to Minneapolis for the college basketball tournament.
Gotcha.
We ended up throwing like all the official parties for that tournament.
Wow.
And I got heavy into the hip hop scene in Minneapolis, which there's like a very big underground hip hop scene there. And so I like really tied myself into that scene there. Then I started like then I more started writing and started connecting with like the school newspaper. And at this time, like even before blogs were popular, there were different websites that you could write for and you know, all that. So I started tapping in with some of these sites, writing, and then I connected with a mutual friend who he had a partner in LA that was from Milwaukee that wrote for the Source magazine.
Wow.
And so he connected me with that dude. And after I met him, I started going to LA, started like getting in the mix. He let me intern for him, and he had a blog called contrabanded.com. And shout out to my boy Biko, shout out to my boy Ryan.
Sure.
But yeah, man, they opened a pathway for me to come out to LA and be able to learn the industry. And you know, and what better way than to have someone that's from where you from, can relate to some of the things that you've gone through. And then, you know, and then they've gotten to a place, you know, that I was aspiring to be at. And so then, you know, they allowed me to follow in their footsteps and gave me a lot of game to, you know, get to where I'm at. But basically through college, I met these guys and I started going to LA pretty frequently. Interning for the Source magazine.
Wow.
And so then when it came time to graduate, it was like a no-brainer for me to move to LA.
Wow.
I was like, I'm going to LA.
That's
like,
crazy. And were you as in this, did you have a title at this time, or it really was just like editor-in-chief, or?
So at this time, I was just an intern for the Source.
Oh, this was just okay, gotcha. So you're really putting the groundwork in.
Yeah, really putting the groundwork in. I moved out to LA. I didn't have a job. I remember my mom's and brother didn't really want me to move out there because I didn't have things figured out. But yeah, I was an intern for the Source.
Wow.
I was an editor for contrabanded.com, that website. And I was like, I'm gonna come out to LA and figure it out. But I came to LA, couch surfed, and then I ended up getting an internship at Jordan Brand. This guy, Reggie Saunders, who still runs Jordan Brand to this day, he gave me an internship at this PR firm, BNC, and they rep Jordan. And so I did PR for Jordan Brand. Basically, they would send out Jordans to like the different hosts on like 106 and Park. And like Damon Wayans when he was on My Wife and Kids, or like different,
which is crazy because Michael Jordan was on there. The most famous episode when Jordan came. That's crazy. Yeah.
And so basically, I used to have to like mark all the times that these guys wore Jordans on the different episodes, and then when new releases were coming, I would have to send shipments out to all of them. So I moved to LA, hit the ground running. And then this publicist named Echo Haddix, she gave me an internship also at her PR firm. And she was repping E40 and Too Short, a bunch of different people at the time. So I moved to LA and just hit the ground running and was just open to any and every opportunity that made sense and took advantage.
For the viewers listening, everything you did for free, you know, people, the internship, like couch surfing, like you really believed in yourself.
Yeah, man. Like I went out there, bro, with what, like $1,500 in my pocket. I remember,
which is 40,000 at the time. No,
you know, it didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it. Yo, but I remember going out there. I had like $1,500 in my pocket, and I bought a $500 Toyota Corolla, like a little hoopty, point A to point B car.
Back and forth.
And I remember like some of my partners looking at me like, "Man, you gonna drive that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna drive this." You know what I'm saying? Man, and I got around. That car lasted me a year, and I mean that thing putted all around LA.
That's right.
Hey, it was like Smokey car when he cut it off, and you know what I mean. Car still running, but I made that thing work. You know what I'm saying? I've never have had like something where I need to be of a certain status or look a certain way.
Come on, bro. That's real.
You know what I mean? And so I always knew, and I think it's that Midwest, the humility and like the Midwest blue collar, I'm a work hard and earn mine.
That's right, bro.
Mentality that I came with. So man. So I went out there, free jobs, working like crazy around the clock, not sleeping, trying to get myself in position.
Real.
You know what I mean?
So from there, like, how did that? First, let me ask you this: Spitty Will.
Yeah.
Have you always felt like you were born for music entertainment?
Yeah, for sure.
Come on, man. It's real, bro.
For sure, bro. It's always been something that's been deeply rooted in my life, just my love for music. Like I said, I knew as a kid, when I was like 8, 9 years old that I wanted to write for the Source. I wanted to work at Def Jam. I knew I wanted to work in this
publication, like, in some type of
capacity. I knew that I wanted to work in the industry somewhere behind the scenes. You know, I just knew. Me and my partners used to sneak into concerts in Milwaukee at the rave, and we would like get backstage and they rapped, and I remember like I was acting as their manager.
Early on.
We had the Wu-Tang show at the rave, and we backstage, and I'm telling Method Man and Papa Wu like, "Yo, these my guys, they rap," and letting them rap for them, and all that. So like, I always wanted to be a part of this, and I always knew that somehow, some way, I would be in the industry. Yeah, for sure.
That just for the viewers, man, like that fearlessness, going up to these MCs, people that you model after. We haven't even gotten to Def Jam, you know, Geffen Records. We haven't even gotten there, but just to even say at 8 or 9, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be, and then tackle that.
Yeah.
The shooting in the gym, the stuff people don't see behind the scenes. You're saying that the couch surfing, taking a leap of faith, going to LA, like going to these places, man, and like, no, I'm here, I'm working. You're not lazy, you're not entitled. That's why you are where you are.
Yeah.
Does that have a lot to do with, just for the entrepreneurs watching this, does that have a lot to do with why, to this day, you said, I'm still hard on myself, I'm relentless. Why is that important in this journey?
My moms used to always, tell me that just as fast as, you can go up and you can reach success, you can drop back down even faster. Wow. And so for me, it was always about having the humility and being willing to do what it takes to get to your goals, and knowing that nothing that you want is easy. You know what I mean? And then also having the understanding that, okay, like these people that I'm working for free, they're in a position that I want to be in. And at a point in time, they had to do the same thing.
Real.
So I'm willing to be a fly on the wall, or I'll do whatever, remedial jobs need to be done, to get to the goal, that I'm trying to get to. So it was always super important for me to understand that, you have to do apprenticeships or internships or whatever it may be. And I think that also came because, so even before getting into marketing, I was really interested in engineering. I thought I was going to do computer science. At one point, I thought I was going to do mechanical engineering, following in my brother's footsteps.
Okay.
And so as I watched him through the years and his career build up, I saw him do these internships and things. And he pushed me in high school to do an internship that I had done at this company called Allen Bradley, Rockwell Automation, where I was in high school doing a mechanical engineering / computer science internship. They sent me off to this school to get certified in this 3D rendering program called Pro Engineer. And then I had to go back to the company and teach like everybody that was in our department this program. So I think that also me coming from a somewhat traditional corporate background, even though I've never worked in traditional corporate, but interning within that realm, I think stepping into that gave me sort of an understanding within business that I might not have had if I would have just tried to go just the music industry route. So I understood that doing these jobs for free and learning under somebody was super important for me to reach success.
It seemed like I didn't say no to a lot of things. It was like you was willing, like
for sure. I mean, as long as it didn't mess with my integrity, no pun intended.
You know what I mean? That's real, bro. That's right. That's right.
And I'll say this too, man. Like the name of your platform, the Integrity Response, like it resonates to me so much because my career, my life revolves around integrity.
I know it does, Spitty. I know it does. I know it does, bro. Like just from talking to you and everything, bro. Even your team involved around integrity, bro. Like for real. I know that means a lot hearing that from you, bro. For sure. Absolutely. For sure, that means a lot, man. Because that's what my dad. That's where it comes from, man. My dad, military, growing up, like integrity. What is integrity? What you're doing when no one's looking. It's you know me, like who you are when no one's looking is implanted in who I am. So yeah, man, like that is big. Just the integrity, having that, man. But definitely, Spitty, I appreciate it, bro. For sure, bro.
And my granddaddy was in the Army, and he helped raise me, and that was his mode. He was all about integrity.
That's right, bro.
I mean, it was all about like what you just said. That's like, what are you doing when people aren't watching?
That's right, bro.
I mean, oh my God. There were times where I got in trouble, and I remember like he'd just be like just looking at me just like this, and he's like, see, the stuff you do when people not watching, like this is the most important thing. And he would tell me like, look, don't let this land you in jail.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because then them consequences gonna be a lot different.
So true, man. So true. Let me ask you this: How did you get your nickname, Spitty Will? How did you get?
So I got the nickname being down in Memphis. My cousin Cello, who's like my brother.
That's what's up.
He gave me that nickname when we were young. I would be in the house, like I thought I was a rapper.
Right. We all did.
So
we all did.
I'm always rapping and all that. But then the biggest thing was like we get in trouble and we be about to get a whooping.
Right.
And boy, I be spitting game trying to get our aunties. To, I'm giving them a pitch into why we shouldn't be getting a whooping and all that. And a couple of times I saved us from some whooping. So he was like, "Yo, keep spitting that, Spitty. Keep spitting that."
I love it, bro. I love it.
Yeah, that's man. Real. So just always willing to spit.
That's
man.
real, bro. That's real. That's what's up, man. So you actually you got your big break with Geffen Records.
Yep.
Come on, man. Come on. Legendary. How did that?
Yeah.
And I want to get into all that because subsidiaries, Geffen. Jam, like they all have like some kind of intertwined.
Yeah. So basically, Geffen is under Universal Music Group,
right?
And then so you had Interscope, Geffen, A&M.
Right.
And so I worked on the Geffen side.
Gotcha.
But even before Geffen, I want to mention this too. One of my like highlights moving out to LA and everything was I had the opportunity to go out to Houston when they did the Great Day in Houston Source Magazine cover shoot where it had all the Houston rappers on the cover: Pimp C, Slim Thug, Bun, ESG, Mike Jones.
This is when it was.
Paul Wall.
This is circa 99 to 2003-04. Like this is when it's about.
Yeah. This was like 2006.
Gotcha.
In that realm.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Right.
So this was in 2006, and so I was able to go to Houston. I wrote a part of the cover shoot, interviewed Chameleonaire, on Jay Prince's ranch with all of these artists as some of my favorite artists,
right?
And that was just such an amazing experience within itself. But then fast forward, and I get this job at Geffen. Geffen just started this new department called New Media.
Gotcha.
And so they were focusing on internet marketing, mobile marketing, you know, all of that. And so my guy Jay Castile from Baller Status, he reached out to me and was like, man, Geffen, who's connected to Interscope, they got this new department that's all involved in media and the internet and everything you've been talking about, you wanting to get involved in. And so he connected the dots to me, with the guys over there, and I started working over there at Geffen. Wow. And this was during the time, so YouTube had just launched.
Gotcha.
And so it was like truly becoming a new era, you know, where, I mean, it was a new era, like in content.
That was right around 2006. That was.
Yeah.
It was around that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So I go there and I tell them, like, hey, the wave of the future is content. So I get them to buy me a camera. And I take this camera and I basically go around Snoop, Common, Keisha Cole, Nelly Furtado, Mary J. Blige, The Roots, everybody they had on the label, Jibbs, everybody that they had on the label. And I went with my camera and I just started filming everybody. You know, I come from that Smack DVD era.
The real behind the scenes, like the...
Yeah, so like I knew... that and I was selling them on like, hey, the people want to see what these artists are doing behind the scenes outside of the music videos or their appearances and things like that. So I immediately got the camera and started filming these artists. And I started filming like what are some of the first like artist vlogs on YouTube.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I was a part of pioneering like the behind the scenes video and, you know, artist BTS content and all of that, you know, on YouTube.
And you became the digital marketing manager. This was your title.
Yep.
And you said at this time it was new. How was that, you know, like take us through that thought process of you being in, you know, this is David Geffen, you know, like this is him.
It was an interesting time because digital was new, and so you had some people that were accepting of it and open and wanting to learn about it and wanting to, you know, tap into it. And then you had, you know, you had like kind of your old school mentality people or your older execs that didn't want to embrace, you know, this new thing that was coming. And two, they felt fear
of this new generation coming in here.
Yeah. Taking over their jobs, they you know what I'm positions and all that. So so I remember, you know, like them first couple of years, you know, like being what I felt like being like one of the least important people in the meetings, like the main meetings, you know, you got the last part of it. They give you about 10 minutes to talk or with a couple minutes to talk about every project, and then it's on to the next one. They hadn't really seen like how big it was gonna be and that it was gonna really take over the industry, you know, completely. Like nobody ever fathomed the thought back then that there would be a time where there weren't physical CDs and things like that sold in the stores. I mean, we knew it was coming, but it didn't really feel like a reality.
Gotcha. About 30 seconds of your time. I really appreciate your support. With every interview, my aim is to bring integrity and fun back to the culture, and I can't do it without you. If you're enjoying this episode, please hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. I appreciate you. Back to the interview. XXL, Source, like these were, you were cool if you walked into someone's room, house, and saw these on the table.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Your collection made you, your family. Just like your VHS. It made you. You could walk in and be, okay, that family, you know, but so you seeing these things like proactively, like as you always been, like we're moving into a different space. It's not just in front interviews, you know. I think the fans want to see who you really are. You know, more than reading 2 or 3 paragraphs. Let's give them you. I know there was a lot of you know, pushback with that.
No, absolutely, because it was new to artists as well. So artists were so used to making their music, shooting music videos and doing appearances when they had to. But this new thought process that I got to create content every single day, or I've got to, do this like on a more frequent basis.
Right.
It was definitely a lot of pushback.
Gotcha.
And then too, like a lot of these artists, a lot of these cats are street dudes.
Real.
And so the idea of the camera in their face all the time, the idea of I'm basically telling on myself
and thinking it's incriminating just because you.
Right, exactly. Gotcha. So yeah, it was definitely like a lot of pushback in the beginning. Artists, and managers not seeing the importance of what the internet was and what it was becoming.
Gotcha. So how long were you there at Geffen?
I worked at Geffen for like 3 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you did migrate to Def Jam.
Yeah. So in between that, I went to Warner Brothers.
Gotcha.
Worked at Warner Brothers Records for a while, and that was a really dope experience. Even though Warner Brothers was more of a rock label,
right? That's right.
At the time,
that's right.
I was able to work with E40,
Gotcha.
which was really dope. Legend in the game.
Yes, he is.
Went to the Bay with him a couple of times.
Say, bro, I was stationed out in the Bay Area.
Okay.
For about a year and a half.
Yeah.
E40 is God.
Oh yeah, nah, he is God, everything
yes,
to
he
the
is,
Bay,
bro, for sure.
Like,
yes,
for real.
He is, for sure.
And then going to the Bay, I understood like why they rock North Faces so much, because I always thought that the Bay was gonna be hot, because you just think of California as just being hot.
Right, absolutely. That's
but
right.
it was cold in the mud
so
there.
I
was tripping on my first trip there.
That's real.
But yeah,
you working hand in hand with them, or
yep. I was working hand in hand with them, and it was cool because he was somebody who. He was really embracing just like the young culture and the internet and, everything with that. So he was super interested in everything we were doing and was open to different ideas or different types of content, to shoot. Like we did like a, like an E40 like dictionary, you know what I'm saying? Like where we did like a video dictionary, you know what I mean, and had him going through like a bunch of words and all that, like just spitting that vernacular.
That's right. That's right.
So I always try to incorporate like things within these campaigns that make the artist like feel at home or feel truly connected to it, not doing cookie cutter type of marketing strategies and all that.
Being around them, being around these, because then at this time everybody's mega stars. We're transitioning to this part where we can go to an IG, we go to a Twitter, we can go to Facebook and see a little Dirk. But back then, as you're transitioning, but they were almost godlike. Like how was it working, and how did family, friends, everybody Spitty is working, hand in hand. He's working at these record labels.
Yeah.
How was the perception of you at this time?
So it's funny because I remember one of my partners, I was traveling so much like across the country. And I remember one of my partners called me and was like, bro, like cats back home think you selling dope, bro. Like, he's like, yo, man, like you the way that you moving and how, what I mean? It was dope. The perception back home, like so many people were proud, you know what I mean? And so many people who knew me and who know me have known that since I've been a kid that I've always wanted to work in hip hop. I've always wanted to work within the culture. So it was one of those things where, just people just at home, like, yo, we rooting for you. Like, keep going. You know what I mean? Keep doing your thing. I knew that you was, gonna get to where you got to because your mama didn't let up on you. You know what I mean? Like, shit, if I got C's on the report card, like, it was like getting an F. You know what I mean? Like, mom's
the bar was high.
The bar was set so high. Like, mediocrity was not
a thing.
Absolutely not. You think my mama was Caribbean, how strict she was.
Gotcha. Wow, that's real, bro.
But yeah, so perception back home, was really cool. I had a couple of people trying to get me to like hand their CD off to Snoop bro,
I want to get into we could go a whole hour into that too. I know.
Oh my God.
I know you dealt with that on so many levels, even to this day right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that's a nonstop, but while we're on that, how do you keep your integrity while knowing, you know, this is not the business friendship.
Right.
You know, it's not the music friendship, the music business. How do you keep your integrity on knowing like, hey, there's no handouts. I am attached to this person, but you know, how do you keep the feelings away in a sense?
Yeah,
you know?
so it's number one, like having I gotta understand that early that this is business. It's the music business. And even though we're doing something that we love, we doing something that's fun, you know, we're not bankers, we're not doctors trying to save lives. At the end of the day, we still have to respect our business for business.
That's right.
And I learned that early on in my career. So everything I attach myself to, you know, I just go in it with that. Like if I'm doing marketing for Snoop Dogg or for Future or somebody, like my job is to do marketing for this person.
Gotcha.
My job isn't to smoke a blunt with this person. My job isn't to sip a drink with this person, have a shot with them. You know what I mean? My job isn't to get at hoes with them and you know, try to smash something in the studio or whatever. Like my job is to go in here and handle that business at hand. Also within that, my job isn't to pitch, you know, my homie from the block CD. You know what I mean? And the way that I would even explain it to people, and you know, cats don't want to hear it or whatever.
Of course, but no one wants to hear that.
You know, but
leave the CD in the car for me. You know,
but the way I would explain it, I'd be like, yo, like, build yourself up so that the artist recognizes you and is asking about you rather than me having to almost do a cold call for you or having to, you know. So I'm like, man, you know, build yourself up. You got to build it up yourself because I got a job to do. You know?
And they actually watched you build up in real time to that status.
And that's one of the toughest things too, and probably one of the most frustrating things is when you building up, you know, a brand, when you building up a company from an idea, you know, from out of the air, then when other people come around and they look at the success that you may have and they want that success, but they don't want to put in that work that you put in. I mean, that's like one of the most difficult, you know, things. That's why you see like so many people like become assholes like after they make it, or that's the perception of them because they didn't work so hard and then got it out the mud to get to where they got to, that I'm not just handing this out to you without you putting in that work.
Wow. Well said, bro. I think everyone need to hear that. Bro, that's so true. It's so I've got it out the mud. Speaking of that, you got a segment that's coming. That's coming soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I did my homework. That's dope. So we're gonna get in that. I want to get in that as we do it. Getting it out. You know, the entitlement. I know from your angle. You know, talk to a lot of bosses on this platform. Just the entitlement. You have to keep your integrity. So you say you have to keep the integrity. And,
absolutely.
And be honest.
Yeah.
Honesty sometimes comes off as an asshole.
Yeah. No,
you know, like, but yeah, like especially when you are about something, you have things going. Wow, I got you.
Yeah, and when you direct with the honesty, you know, like you don't sugarcoat things, and sometimes it can come across, you know, in a wrong way.
Gotcha.
Something else I want to talk about. I want to talk about when it comes to honesty. Something that I be thinking about a lot. You know, I don't know if you've ever felt this way, but like a lot of times I'll kind of get into my own head and I'm like, damn, you know, like I'm seeing other people around me, you know, super successful and, you know, doing their thing. And sometimes it's like, yo, like, all right, it's coming to me slow because I'm taking a certain route or I'm doing it with integrity or I'm not.
I was just about to get there, bro. You were doing it with integrity.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a longer route.
It's a longer route. It's a longer road. And, you know, it's tough because, you know, you will see people that you know are, you know, maybe doing things a way that you wouldn't, you know, want to do it. But then you seeing them reach these certain successes, certain milestones and things like that. And it's like,
it's so easy to press the button and do the same thing.
Right.
You know, like, and it's like, but yeah, who you are, how you were raised, leadership, you won't even compromise that part of you.
Nah,
even though we know it's an easy button to just do so.
Yeah.
But real. Is that, make sure they mean, okay. But yeah, just an easy button to do so. But yeah, bro, that is, I do understand that for sure.
Yeah.
And while you was at Def Jam, you did mention that around this time, this is when your voice started to get heard a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because now you're leading the generation. Okay, let's just listen, you know, let's listen to you now.
Yeah.
What did that feel like to have, you know, like you said at the end, I had the last 10 minutes of it, you know, now I'm the front runner, digital marketing.
Oh yeah. Def Jam was a dope experience. And, you know, going into that dream job, you know, it was so surreal moving out to New York. I moved to Brooklyn.
Gotcha.
One of my,
I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh yeah,
I did not know that. Okay, gotcha.
So I moved to New York, moved to Brooklyn, living in Bed-Stuy. One of my first memories was walking to Albee Square Mall, which isn't there anymore now. Now Barclays Center is in that area or whatever. But I remember seeing Lil C's in the neighborhood and chopping it up with him, and then him pointing to Biggie's house to me and being like, "Yo, that's where Biggie grew up." And it was just so surreal to me, just being in New York, you know, the place where hip hop started.
That's right.
Working at Def Jam, you know, the top record label when it come to hip hop, when it come to the culture.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so getting in there was like a dream come true. And then at this time, digital had gotten to a space where it was the #1 driving force of marketing.
Real.
At this point, digital had surpassed like even radio promotions, which we know radio is
we everything. We lived by radio.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Hot until, you know,
right, you weren't hot until your song surpassed a certain amount of spins on the radio.
That's right.
Now at this point, streams, digital downloads were still relevant at this time. So now that is starting to surpass and it's starting to gauge if an artist is actually popular or actually, you know, a money generating artist.
Gotcha. And this is circa what? This is about around when?
This is like 2009, 2010.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That is right. So and around this time, you mentioned you worked on Kanye West.
Yeah, I worked on Kanye West, My Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a really dope experience. And working with Kanye was really dope, especially because when I first went to Def Jam, I was working with Big Sean.
Wow.
And
gotcha. Come on.
Worked with Big Sean like on his first mixtape he had ever released, and basically worked with him from the first mixtape to the first album.
Gotcha.
Everything from, I mean, like his team, shout out to Zeno, like his teams they were really dope, really savvy. So we worked together developing content.
Gotcha.
You know, developing strategy, came up with the weekend recap.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like so working with Kanye was dope because he was just so forward thinking and so outside the box. And you know, the documentary that just came out where Genius.
That's right.
You know, so we got to see like his level of genius and even how insanely genius, you know, he could be, and how tapped in he was like to what he was doing and everything. But to be able to see that in person, you know, to experience that and to see like him, the perfectionist, you know, him, you know, like messing with different sounds for a long time to fix certain sounds. Wow. And then, you know, something that like you and me would never,
it's perfect.
Right? Yeah, it sounds perfect, right. But they spending an hour or 2 hours on one sound to fix that. So
that's crazy. I know he was on a different level when he was trying to find a 808. He went to Timberland. You know, that was documented. Went to Timberland, like, I need that perfect. But that's so true. He was like, he looked at it like art.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
for sure.
I'm leaving my art with y'all. Like, wow, that's
for sure.
That's amazing.
So really seeing him and his approach, you know, to music and everything. And when I worked at Geffen and was working Common Project, Kanye was executive producing that.
Wow.
So even early on, I was moving around with him, got to meet him and connect with him. So it was cool. When I came over there to Def Jam, he knew me from working with Common, knew that I was a young cat that was forward thinking, like when it came to digital and everything. And so he rocked with me. So we did a partnership with this company called Ustream, which was like a big live streaming company back then. And so he unveiled the artwork for my Dark Twisted Fantasy, and that was like his first time breaking the internet.
Wow.
So, and that
this is the infamous, like, lady with no arms.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. Classic.
Yeah, so
that was so controversial. Like when it came, I remember that.
It was real crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So and back then, me and my guy Mozzie, shout out Mozzie, he's a really dope digital marketing person in the space, and he was working at Ustream, and it's like, man, if we knew what we knew now, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, we was setting up these big deals, these big major deals, you know what I mean? But for the love of the culture and and being forward thinking, and you know, and I was just happy that people were actually listening and taking a chance on like some of these ideas that we had, because we would have so many ideas on like ways that, you know, artists could, you know, blow up on the internet or whatever, but so, you know, a lot of time, like if people weren't experienced with, you know, doing some of these tactics, and some of this stuff was new and out the comfort zone, so they weren't willing to.
I see, and just saying out the comfort zone, new Kanye West, you know, like just thinking of how your brain works, you know, like, and how his brain works, pushing the boundaries, the envelope. Like you've always, it seems like, you know, they say most millionaires, most CEOs don't stay put. That's a trend.
Yeah.
They move from, a lot of people don't know the CEO of Walmart was once the CEO of Home Depot, things like that. They just, you have this history of learning, gravitating, moving, you know, learning the next thing. And learning is primarily your biggest.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like, your biggest skill set is learning. Yeah. A lot of people don't, you know, I'm talented. I'm talented. Right, but don't want to learn anything.
Yeah, no, I've always been a student of the game. And have always stayed with that mindset. And then I think the field that I working within digital marketing, digital media, if I don't stay ahead of the game, then I'll get X'd out.
Gotcha.
You know, like I have to, you know, in the beginning of, you know, like the internet craze, or at least like for me working in marketing, like before the blog era, then the blog era came. Then from that came, you know, playlisting, and that was, you know, very prevalent. You know, then from that, now it's all about content and filming your own content and owning your own platforms and things like that. I mean, I remember in the years of, you know, like when World Star Hip Hop was at its most popular, me pitching the artists, telling them, hey, you should start your own YouTube channel. You should start your own channel, and the $5,000 or $3,000, whatever that we gonna spend at World Star to get one of these boxes, like you should let me spend that in YouTube ads and in other ways to promote your video, so that you have more subscribers. And
it goes back to you.
Yeah,
you're right. When that video comes out of World Star, we normally subscribe to World Star.
You don't subscribe and stay with that artist. So I mean, that was, you know, like marketing strategies that, you know, we were pushing in. And now to this date, the main platform where artists are even putting their music videos are on their own YouTube channel to build up their subscribers. So, you know, but in my line of work, I have to always be thinking ahead of the game and ahead of the curve, so that we don't fall behind.
Real. Yeah. And then in 2011 comes Supreme Marketing.
Yeah, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, man.
So this pivot, these pivots you're doing.
Yeah.
So Def Jam, is it you took a leap of faith and was like, how did this transition to where you're working?
You talking about when I went independent?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was it wasn't something where I jumped out and said I quit and I'm just about to start my own thing.
Gotcha.
It was actually something where I got laid off from Def Jam. It was I think every layoff is unexpected, so to say it was unexpected is probably silly.
Gotcha.
But I definitely didn't expect it because I was spearheading like all of or what I felt like were like all the top projects, over there at the label. But then I got laid off, and I gotten laid off at Geffen and Warner Brothers. I quit that job and went to Def Jam, but I just kept seeing like even with some of my OGs that there was a trend of going to these labels, getting laid off, and then like that just being kind of the normal trend. And I said I didn't want that trend for myself.
Real.
So after I got laid off, I didn't take a vacation. I didn't take no days off. The next day my phone was ringing. I had marketing clients, and I was, building Supreme Marketing.
Real.
From there. And my first client that really like got me off the ground was Jeezy. Brought me in to run the marketing for 8732.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this time, did you already migrate to Georgia?
Nah, at this time I was still in New York, but when I moved to New York for Def Jam, that was when I met my partners within DGB.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
And this is make sure I say it right. Ziploc.
Yeah. Ziploc Mo. Yes, sir.
Man, that's what's up. Definitely, that's what's up.
Man. Shout out Zip, the mastermind behind DGB.
Definitely. So this is where y'all meet.
Yeah. So basically, in New York, my partner Ronnie, who's a digital marketing mastermind as well. We was on his rooftop drinking beers, listening to Devin the Dude, and he was like, man, my cousin got this blog, and it's all focused on Southern hip hop, Midwest hip hop, street music. You know what I mean? And he was like, man, I think that y'all would connect really well, because I know that this is the same niche of music that you love too. And at the time, DGB was a blog at the time of the blog era, that was so essential because the niche of Southern hip hop, Midwest hip hop, like the niche of music that's super popular right now within the culture. DGB, Dirty Glove, was the platform for that, and in that day, and in those years, most of the platforms just focused on East Coast music, West Coast music, and weren't really tapped into, there wasn't a platform where you could get Young Jeezy, or where you could get Ray Cash, or where you could get, like the newest Gorilla Zoe or something like that. And so Zip had created that platform for that niche. And when I saw it and got connected with him, I knew that it was I knew that it was on. It was something that I had to be involved in.
Midwest Brothers, he's from Michigan.
Yep.
So I'm sitting here drawing this parallel. These Midwest guys, one goes off to LA, back all the way over to New York.
Yeah.
And then you have this trifecta of culture.
Yeah.
You guys saw culture from every angle, lived in the Midwest, so your ear was in tune everywhere.
Yeah.
It's almost destined.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? Like to have that ear, that knowledge, that understanding.
Yeah.
Like we can bridge the gap, y'all. We can really bridge the gap.
Nah, for sure. And then when I met Zip, he was living at Dallas at the time.
Gotcha.
And when I tell you, like, he is such a live dude. Like when I met this cat, I mean, he just had me in some of everything. You know what I mean? And I mean, he picked me up, brews in the middle console, a couple of blunts rolled, like he ready, you know what I mean? Just ready to mob out, hit the city. But then like when I saw like his vision and his love for hip hop, and I was like, man, this cat, he a hip hop nerd like me.
Real.
But then, you know, but he a real dude, and he really active, and he, you know, and he took me to a trap where he had a computer set up and, you know, all that. And I was like, yo, like this dude is a fool with
real.
it. And I rock with it because we got the same vision.
Real,
you know what I mean?
And, real.
And so yeah, man, we connected, and then DGB is a really dope team, and he had a really dope team in place with having Hayes down in Tampa. Hayes is from Miami, but he was based in Tampa.
Gotcha.
And then Dre, he's from Baton Rouge, and he was based there. So we had, you know, the whole map of our niche of music. We had it all, you know, locked in.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So that, you know, like how important is team, man? Because the way y'all move, man, like how important is that?
Man, teamwork make the dream work, for real. Is super important to have a dope team, and I'm blessed to have a dope team of people who are all like-minded, don't have egos. Like we all want to see people win.
That's right,
we all, and the dope part about it too is that each one of us, like, we're so passionate about music and the culture and all of that, and our different facets of what we do.
That's right.
So like me on the marketing, you know, being you know, like just really passionate about what I do and wanting to see these artists move in the right direction.
That's right, bro.
Dre on the A&R and management side, you know, having that same mindset. Long Live Pooh, he was the same way, you know what I mean? Like just really for these artists, you know what I mean? Just our whole team, like we're all passionate about what we do, and we all have integrity.
Come on, bro. I love it. It's real.
You know, and it's amazing because I wouldn't ask for, you know, a better team.
That's real.
And something that I've always prided myself in is, you know, I'm a dot connector. I'm the number one dot connector. You know what I mean? And that's something that I do. And from early on, you know, I grew up not having much, but then I've always been the type of person that when I get something, I'm sharing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So whether it be
information,
that's right. Whether it's, you know, back when we was poor and cats had to split a couple dollars to get a sandwich or to get some fries and split a bag of fries, whatever it is, you know, I've always been willing to go out and get it and come back and share with the tribe. You know what I'm saying?
Does that help you know, one of my favorite quotes, you want a fulfilling life? Give. Is that how you feel about?
For sure, man. For sure. I'm so fulfilled by being able to give back.
That's right.
In situations, whether it's on the community tip or whether it's me being in position and being able to give younger people or other people that's trying to get in position opportunities. So that's why I've always, through my whole career, have been really big about being a mentor to people.
That's right.
Having interns and really teaching my interns and people that work for me, like really teaching them values and skill sets and things like that.
That's right.
You're not just getting coffee. You're not just going to gas up my car and wash my truck or something. Like it's about like you really getting put in the field and, you know, having to like learn to be independent and develop certain skill sets to, you know, get to where you're trying to get to.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
It is. I actually just Ugly Money Nietzsche.
Yeah, shout out to
another
him.
platform.
For sure.
And he said in the interview, he said one of the biggest things for me, and I'm hearing you speak, is he said, you know, I wanted to be the big homie I never had. That was so, I love that, you know, and it's just hearing you say that, and not saying that's what it is, but you're like, no, I want to be what I wanted. I want to be that, you know, I want to give the interns, I want to be hand in hand with them.
So
I want to be, I respect that.
I would say that, because again, man, I'm blessed, lucky, whatever words you want to use. I mean, you know, my big brother, you know, growing up, like he was and is, you know, the best, you know what I mean? And taught me so much. And then I've also been blessed to have like dope mentors and people who have reached back and people who have looked out. I don't have the story of nobody ever looked out for me. I got it all out the mud on my own and did this. Like, nah, my story is a bunch of good people did reach out and pull me up. Now I had to
you had to put your muscle up too.
Yeah, for sure. I had to put my muscle up. I had to put in the work. I had to wake up early. I had to be willing to put in that work to even motivate them to want to continue to teach me and help me to build my skill sets. But I was blessed to be able to have that. So I've always said that when I get in position, I'm gonna put other people in position. And because I've always come from the mindset, I've always come from that Dame Dash mindset of like, if I build up my whole team to be strong, then no matter what happens, if I fall off, then okay, I can borrow a little from you, borrow a little from you. And it might not even literally be borrowing, but it's, you know, like opportunities coming from different ways. And that's come twofold. And several situations where people who may have interned for me or who may have worked for me in some of these different positions now come back to me and they're in position, so they hire me for things or they...
And I love that. And you mentioned Dame Dash. I was thinking about the Jay-Z bar. If we fall off, we be each other's crutches. You know, like, bro. Like, it's real, bro. Like,
it's so real.
It's so true, man. That is, bro. Like, just each one teach one, bro. It comes.
Absolutely. And that's always been my mind frame and how I've moved and how I've thought. So in taking that thought process with my DGB team, it was always like, okay, I'm in these buildings. I'm moving around in, you know, all of these buildings and know a lot of people. So now it's like, hey, y'all, like, whenever y'all can come to New York, come and crash at my spot. And I'm going to bring you to the office, or I'm a, you know what I mean? Like Big Crit had a video shoot here in Atlanta. So you know, calling Dre from my team, you know, back then and being like, hey man, come from Baton Rouge, come to Atlanta, stay with me in my hotel for a couple of days and and we're gonna move around. I want you to meet all of these people and, you know, and get tapped in. So
put people in position.
Absolutely.
Like, just like you said, they recognize you working on your ladder up. You recognize them working, so you put them in position.
No, for sure.
That's how I love that.
Because I come from a place that's, you know, so unlikely that you would expect like somebody that's doing what I'm doing to be from. And so I use that as fuel. Like when it comes to, you know, like I said, like my team within DGB, like working hard to, you know, help to try to, you know, put everybody in position or, you know, us working together to get in certain positions to be able to make each other, you know, successful, you know, and I just always have had that drive in me to want to build up younger people. And you know, that's a huge passion of mine. That's a huge, you know, part of me that fulfills me and what I'm doing.
Real respect, bro. Respect. Let's get to the Off the Porch segment.
Yes, sir.
DGB, Off the Porch. DGB was established between you two, and then Off the Porch comes around this is 20.
Yep. So, all right. So Ziploc Mo started DGB, Dirty Glove Bastard. And then I would say in 2014, I was doing marketing for Young Dolph. So I was independent. So like, so when I went independent, started Supreme Marketing. Like I told you, I was working with Jeezy. Went and worked with Akon, Future, bunch of different artists. But at the time of, I also want to mention this too. So before Off the Porch started, DGB also pioneered for this niche of hip hop, which is super popular at South by Southwest. We were doing South by Southwest shows with live mixtapes where we were bringing Young Dolph, Kevin Gates, ASAP Rocky, you know what I mean? All of these different artists on these stages. And, you know, like really pioneering like what the niche of South by Southwest, you know, is currently. Wow. You know what I mean? But
and so, this, you like had your own stage? Or
yeah, we had our own stages. Wow, yep. Wow. So for about 3 years, 4 years, we were doing our own stages, and every year we would go down there and, you know, have these monumental stages. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sitting here thinking, did you treat, you know, because Universal, Geffen, subsidiaries, you treat it like South by Southwest, like a branch. I'm going to bring my branch to this big and create these. I'm gonna show you some stars on my branch.
Nah, for sure.
You have that in your mindset.
I mean, definitely. It was, you know, it was one of those things where it was like, okay, what's all the hottest events and things happening through the year, and then how can we be involved in all of these things? Right. And that was our mindset. So at that time, A3C and South by Southwest were like the two hottest things, you know what I'm saying? So we made sure that we were involved, you know, in all of these places.
How important is branding, you know, marketing, everything you are, CEO, label owner? How important is marketing for the young artists, you know, or the up-and-coming artists watching this? How important is just, you know, guerrilla anything? How important is it?
I mean, marketing is super important because, you know, marketing are the creative ideas and strategies that you come up with around an idea that attract people to be interested in your product or idea. Gotcha. So within that, you know, comes branding, which is, you know, super important, you know, with developing your niche and understanding like who your audience is.
Gotcha.
I mean, just from that right there, like understanding like your brand, understanding your audience, and then knowing like who to actually go and target.
Gotcha.
That's super important, because if you just go in and develop a product and just try to put it out to the world without identifying like who it's for, then you don't know who's gonna, you know, tap into it, and you don't really have a true strategy to get to a particular type of person.
Gotcha. Off the Porch.
Yes, sir.
Back to that, you did say, you said this is genius. This comes around what time? When did y'all develop Off the Porch?
Yeah, so Off the Porch was developed in 2014.
2014.
I was working with Young Dolph back around, we were working Preach back then.
I know that I know the name.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Look, I ain't gonna mess up the lyrics,
okay,
so I ain't gonna say, but
oh no,
Preach. Sorry. We was working, we was working the record Preach.
Yes,
my fault.
Of course. Preach,
so, right.
Yes, definitely. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so we was working Preach, and I was taking Dolph around to do press days, and he didn't like doing interviews. So we were going around the Hot New Hip Hop, Double XL, Vibe, Fader, like all these different platforms, and he didn't like doing interviews. And I remember Al from Street Execs was like, "Spitty, you used to write for The Source. You a real journalist, and y'all got DGB. Why don't you start doing interviews?" And I was like,
"Wow,
damn, okay, like maybe I will." And then Dolph was like, "Shit, I'll interview with you, bro. Like if you the one doing the interview, like I'll sit and talk to you."
Real.
So I was living at this house in Decatur, at Mad Studios. Shout out to Corey Moe from Houston, but he had moved down here, moved his Mad Studios down here. We had the studio house in Decatur, and there was this porch in the backyard. And I'm a huge fan of the Hot Boys, and on their Guerrilla Warfare album, all their skits was called Off the Porch.
Wow!
So I just took that name. I took my Canon T2i.
Right.
Put that thing on a tripod and went to the backyard and set it all up and filmed the first Off the Porch back then.
Wow!
Like you hear the air conditioner in the background, you hear cars and stuff, you hear like all the elements of us being outside.
I've seen they're still on the website to this day.
Yeah, for sure.
You see the beginnings and like, no, y'all really were outside off the porch, bro. Like that is
Bankroll Fresh. That was
brilliant.
That was one of the other ones that we did outside, like on that porch. And so, I mean, the idea just really, I mean, it just embodied like what cats come from. You know what I mean? Like that was a normal thing, like sitting on the porch, chopping it up with your partners.
So true.
You know what I mean? Sitting on the porch, getting your hair braided, or
true, man.
You know what I mean? Watching the girls play double dutch in the street,
true,
or
man.
you know what I mean?
I'm saying, as you say it, I'm thinking about Trey Songz "Braid My Hair." Right now,
you feel me?
That's real, bro. It's real.
Grown folks sitting on the porch, gossiping, talking about what's happening in the neighborhood. So so it just embodies the neighborhood, and like some of the best conversations have been on the porch. You know what I mean?
Real.
And so you know, that's where it came from, man. And we've been blessed to like have so many artists grace the porch and be able to get like so much support from different artists, you know, like Starlito, Don Tripp, Long Live Trouble. Like he was one of the first artists to ever interview on our platform. He interviewed like before we even got the porch at our new creative space. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So yeah,
that's dope, man. And do y'all have an official first interview? Is there official?
The official first interview was Young Dolph.
Wow.
That was the official first off the porch interview ever, was Young Dolph.
Wow.
Bankroll Fresh was second. And then I believe Scotty ATL was third.
Shout out to Scotty.
Yeah,
man. That's
man.
What's up, man.
Yeah, my boy Scotty.
I had the privilege of interviewing him as well.
Yeah,
man.
man.
Dope brother.
Good dude, man. Yeah.
Get well, Scotty. Get well.
Man. Yeah, he got into like a really bad car accident.
He sure did.
Yeah, I did see that.
Recovering.
Yeah.
He definitely
man,
is.
get well soon, bro.
Yes,
for real.
Yes, sir,
Scotty
bro.
done definitely blessed a lot of people out here and given a lot of opportunities, and just one of the hardest working cats out here. So for real, well wishes to you, bro.
For sure, bro. For sure.
Yeah.
The gap that you bridge, the between the up and coming artist who could be living in his mother's basement, who has a dream, to be mentioned with even these three, the opportunity you guys give is a gift in itself. You know, you ain't official. You ain't official till you get on that porch, man.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
straight up.
Where in the marketing plan did you guys say, no, let's give and see how this turns out? Because I absolutely love it.
Nah, for sure. So and that's dope for you to even point that out like that. Bro, and see it like that, because that was the true goal with us creating the platform and doing what we're doing. We said that we wanted to create a place where your artist that people might not know but has a dope or really, you know, compelling story, like that artist can live on the same platform where you might see Big 30 or Killer Mike or The Baby or, you know, somebody like that. And that really came from, I think, just how I was speaking to all of our mindsets, all of us, you know, within DGB, how passionate we are about the culture.
That's right.
And how, you know, we've always been for the underground. We've always rooted and pushed the underdog.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's always been a part of what we've been doing. So for us to build a platform where we can have this artist that's not known standing next to your favorite artist, and you be able to capture both of their stories and connect to them, that was our true goal. And during the pandemic, like when things really picked up, and you know, Atlanta being open, and so many people coming here to either work or do shows or whatever it may be, so many people came through our creative space, which we kept open through the pandemic, and we were able to, you know, lock in. And
you go ahead, bro. Like, we're open for business.
Yeah.
You know, like, bro. Like, and that sometimes you have to go against the grain.
Yeah.
You know, do you believe, you know, as you're saying, I'm thinking back on New York, Def Jam, the layoff. Had you been content finishing on with Def Jam, even though you knew certain things was, you know, like, you know, it's a trend, you know, layoffs are a trend. Would you be that mindset, Supreme Marketing, you know, moving certain things don't happen, so certain things do. Do you believe that?
I believe that it would have been more of a thought process than action.
Gotcha.
I'll truly say that. I could easily be cocky right now and say, nah, I definitely would have been Supreme Marketing, definitely would have left and would have started my own thing and would have, but no, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. Right. And, you know, they say one door closes, one door opens. I believe that. And I'll honestly say that I probably would have continued moving in fear and being content with having a paycheck, benefits, you know what I mean, vacation days, all of that. I mean, let's be real. Like, that stuff is easy to be content with, especially if you're making some good money. And it's like, all right, all I got to do is kind of come in here and do this. And you know, so I definitely feel like the layoff was necessary to give me that push to then force me to do what I was destined to do.
Real. Respect, bro. Respect. 2024.
Yes, sir.
Spitty Will, what currently drives you?
Being creative.
Come on.
Continuing to be able to, you know, create opportunities that can then give other people opportunities. Being a vessel.
Real.
You know, like, those things drive me. And then continuing to learn, you know, learn new things and step into, you know, new realms. So I just produced my first film.
Come on,
recently.
What? You know, Come on, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Sitting there thinking back, like, bro, you around superstars, like, you know, B-roll, you know, behind the scenes.
Right.
You naturally picked up certain things. How was that production and going into this space?
It's crazy because going into it, I was really nervous. Just because, you know, I've worked in these spaces that I've worked in for so long, and I know what I know, and I know I'm good at, you know, a bunch of different things.
Right, gotcha.
But definitely stepping into new territory, you know, can be scary. And I'm such a perfectionist.
Gotcha.
That I wanted to make sure that I did a great job, you know, on set. And it was actually a film directed by Fool the Camera, starring.
Wait a minute, hold up. Are we? We're not talking about Antoine.
No, not Antoine.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
No. So the new movie Hidden Lies that's gonna be coming out. Yeah.
Man.
So I produced that film.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
And just this 360, this pivot for the camera.
Yeah.
Your association.
Absolutely.
You know, like, even seeing, bro, like, because remember, I study.
Word.
If it's, I know our culture.
Yeah.
Just seeing how with DGB, what he was attached to, how that transpired.
Yeah.
Man, it's amazing how, like you say, man, like, each one teach one, how everyone is moving in all these spaces, come back, grab, you know, assist.
Yeah. And that's what it's about, bro.
So
I mean, Fool with the Camera, you know, he's somebody, like, I call him a friend.
Real.
Call him a brother.
Great dude, man.
Great dude.
Yeah, he is, brother. I love everything going for him right now, man.
Nah,
he has, just his story is amazing.
For sure.
Amazing.
And we talk pretty regularly, and we both really connected on the loss of our moms. I believe his mom passed away maybe like 6 months before mine did. And so we connected. I mean, we were already, like, great working with each other and had a great rapport on that tip. But then we really connected and started talking every day and all of that, you know, based off of that, you know, common loss that we both had taken. But then from that, you know, we both started talking about mental health, integrity, morals, you know, different things like that, and then realized that we were both, like, really connected even more than we had ever even known.
Real.
You know, so yeah, man, like, Fool is a really good dude who, I mean, even watching him transition to, you know, doing Antoine,
right,
and like he and I had done a short film together with this artist named Rodsta before that, and we're just tapping into different creative ideas. He had some film ideas that he had been talking to me about like over a year or so ago, and so we had always been kind of in that mindset with things. But then to see him, and I remembered him telling me like, hey, I'm about to stop shooting music videos,
that's it.
and I'm about to transition into, you know, shooting films and series and things like that. And him explaining to me why he was doing it, and him pivoting into like a new realm, you know, within himself as a person, but then also professionally.
That's right.
And, you know, he motivated me a lot, you know, in terms of me, you know, doing some pivots in my career and making some transitions and being willing to step outside of my comfort zone. And, you know, and it's easy to, you know, like being a person who has accolades or has reached some levels of success and things like that. It's easy for people on the outside to look at you and think that you got it all figured out.
Gotcha.
But being a student of the game means that like you're forever learning.
Forever learning. I respect that.
You know what I mean?
That's so true. That's so true.
And it's like you always, you know, can pick up something new and can, you know, learn something new. And so, you know, for me, like my relationship with Fool has been one where, and he's younger than me too, but age ain't nothing but a number.
That's right,
you know
bro.
what I mean?
That's right.
But he's motivated me in like so many different ways just to look at things differently, look at myself differently, and respect like even, you know, my skill sets and, you know, different things that I've done for the culture, and be willing to do something different and step out
and embrace it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great, because he's the same way. He's fearless.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, like just his story as well, not to stay too hard, but just come from DC with a camera on a train, like, no, I'm coming to Atlanta, I gotta get away. And just watch him be that motivated to pivot, keep pivoting.
No,
but it is, and you can see even through his music videos, he was pivoting, you know, because he was telling stories in the music. You can see it. You can see it. You know, okay, he's like documentary style type.
Like these music videos aren't just run and gun videos. So like they're he was really telling stories within those visuals.
Real. Respect. Right now, currently, scale 1 through 10. Where do you rate your grind?
Man, 1 through 10, I would rate my grind a 15.
Real. That's real. Respect.
Yeah, man. Respect. I would say it's a 15 because, I mean, I really love what I do. I really love the space that I'm in. I'm really appreciative of the abilities that God has given me. You know, from different skill sets I have within work, to even like just my know-how and just how to maneuver and deal with people and, you know, things like that. I want to continue to be great, but then I want the people around me to be great as well. And a lot of times I take that on as a responsibility and moving the way that I move, and, you know, working hard to try to amass success so that, you know, the rest of the team can also see success and, you know, can have these same and even more accolades and, you know, things like that. Like I want the people that work for me, have interned for me, whatever it may be, I want those people to be bigger than me. I want those people to be more successful than me, because I'm giving my time and my know-how and all of that to help to build and groom these people so that they can surpass. And then, like I said earlier, then turn around and reach back.
That's right, man.
And hand me something, or you know, hand me an opportunity, or if it's family around me or something like that, just knowing that, you know, since I've done people good, then they're gonna do me good.
Real respect. And your bar, just like early from the childhood, the bar was set high on your end, so you expect it on yourself and others around you. Excellence. That's what I know that's what you're about.
Absolutely.
With integrity. I know that's what you're about, for sure, bro, for sure. That's what's up, man. This segment of the show, we're wrapping up. This segment of the show is brought to you by Grand Moscato.
Okay.
It's called Authentic Answers. So before you answer, just take a sip.
Okay.
Just like that. All right, here we go.
All right.
Based on how you feel right now, if you woke up tomorrow morning and suddenly didn't know your age, how old would you tell people you are?
24.
Come on. It's real, Spitty. Come on. Hey, Spitty, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, look, especially since I lost this 60 pounds.
Come on,
you
Spitty.
Feel me?
Come on,
like,
bro.
Shit. Especially since I lost this snifty 60. You know
how does that feel? For the supporters, for the fans watching, how does that feel, bro?
It feels amazing, man, because, you know, like I was saying earlier, it sounded like a joke, but I really feel better than I can ever truly remember.
Wow.
And everything just from a health standpoint, like not as much weight on the knees,
come on,
and
bro.
You know what I mean, and the back, and you know, all of that. And yeah, man, I just feel a lot better. And too, the work that I put in to reach where I've gotten to so far, that helps me to maneuver in so many other places of my life.
Real.
I'm a morning workout person. So I wake up about 5:30, 6 in the morning, get my workout in, usually do that, eat breakfast, everything. And I'm like set for my day, like around 7:30, you know what I mean?
That's right.
So just starting the day off with that just boosts my energy so much, and then my confidence, because I'm like, yo, I know
the hardest thing was done already.
The hardest thing was done.
Real, bro.
And when I walk in the room, I'm like, look, I know that half of the people in this room didn't put in the work that I put in this morning.
Wow.
So I walk into rooms even more confident than I ever had, just because of the work that I'm putting in, you know.
Wow, respect. Respect, bro. Respect.
Yes,
all right, here we go. Here we go.
All right.
What's that one movie or sitcom you're embarrassed to admit that you enjoy? Or even growing up? What's that one? Mine was Austin Powers. I love you. Can't get me away from Austin Powers.
That's funny. I'd probably say that TV show Boy Meets World.
Classic. That's right. Classic. That's real.
Corey and Topanga.
Topanga, that's right. That's classic, bro. Classic. And what do you remember where they were based out of? Wasn't it the Midwest? That show, I thought it was.
I believe so, but I don't remember.
Gotcha. I believe it was like I think they were in the Midwest.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. I believe so, because I know Saved by the Bell, they were in Cali, and I think like that show.
Real.
Yeah. I think.
How'd you feel about the revamp when they tried to bring it back?
Saved by the Bell?
No. Boy Meets World. They tried to bring it back. It wasn't happening. Right?
It wasn't happening. Nah, man.
They tried.
I don't even think. Did they even have to do Ben Savage on there?
I'm not sure.
Dude?
I'm not sure.
Because it's funny because I was just seeing some pictures on Instagram about that, and I didn't see him in none of them pictures. I was like, yo, that, and then like even the Fresh Prince revamp, I couldn't get into that one either. Bel Air,
me either. I wasn't gonna disrespect the culture like that. I wouldn't even go. Couldn't even do it. That's real. Here we go. Here we go. When you were a teen, who was your celebrity crush?
When I was a teen, my celebrity crush. Damn, okay, 2 of them, and it's 2 different age ranges. All right, Stacey Dash was one of them.
Wow, classic.
Integrity.
And then Pam Grier, Foxy Brown.
Real, that's real. That's real. Classic.
Even though she was a little older than my time, but
right.
She
gotcha. That's real. That's real. That's what's up. I had Ugly Money Nietzsche. He said the same thing. Stacey Dash.
That's okay. Yeah. Stacey Dash. Oh man, she was cold.
That's dope, bro. That's dope. And then the crazy part is most people didn't even know she was. That's Dame Dash's cousin. Most people don't even know that. That's real. Here we go. Last question. Here we go. This question you don't answer. After I ask the question, you just look in the camera. If you had to cut out one friend in your life, who would it be?
Integrity.
And that concludes authentic answers.
That's funny. You know who you are.
You're right. That's real, bro. That's real, man. Here we go back to the questions, man. Spitty Will, as a human, everything you've accomplished, do you feel like you're misunderstood?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Most creatives feel that way.
Yeah. And if signs and astrology and all of that matter, like I'm a Virgo.
Gotcha.
And so our traits are normally like standoffish, or you know what I mean, like state of oneself or whatever. So, but Yeah, I definitely feel misunderstood a lot. But it actually, my therapist helped me to like understand some of the reasons why I'm misunderstood. And that sort of helped me to maneuver around my people, my friends, family, things like that, and even how to express myself more, because, you know, I would just to not put burdens on other people, and to not stress other people out, I would just hold my problems in.
Gotcha.
I would
not want to be a burden, or
not want to be a burden to other people. But then I found out, I remember like I was complaining to one of my partners, and then he said something to me. He was like, man, you know, you should be a little more open, because, you know, like people wouldn't know that you deal with so much of what you deal with. And I remember at first I took it like the wrong way.
I gotcha. I do know what you're saying.
But then talking to my therapist about it, she was like, nah, like you have to be more open and communicate how you feeling.
Go ahead.
You have to be more open and communicate like things that you want. You have to be more open and communicate your expectations.
Gotcha.
You know, because a lot of times those are things that will leave up to assumption.
That's right.
And you let people assume things, and it's gonna leave you in a bad place a majority of the time.
That's a fact.
So that's also a part of living with intention. And what I was talking about early on when you first asked me, am I living or am I surviving? Living with intention is, you know, being willing to communicate my feelings, my thoughts, even if they're difficult, you know, and being able to do that without, you know, without like allowing like my triggers to, you know, take me into a negative space.
Respect. Understand that. While we on communications, Spitty Will, are you a married man?
No, I'm not married.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm single. No kids either.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Spitty Will. Successful black man.
Yes, sir.
Well-spoken, high integrity, cultural leader. What does this woman have to possess?
This woman has to possess a lot of love, integrity. She got to be a go-getter. I mean, that's hard. That's hard working. And she has to be beautiful.
Come on.
And her soul.
Come on, bro. Come on.
Physically as well too. You know what I mean? I want a pretty smile as well.
That's right.
But seriously though, meaning like her spirit is beautiful. Like she's a person who, you know, other people speak on her, you know, like in honor. You know what I mean? And you know, like a woman that just embodies love and is a good person, and, you know, and who love me.
Real, come on, bro. I love it. I love it. That's what's up, bro. Love it, man. Love it. That's what's up. And let me ask you this: everything you've accomplished, what is your proudest accomplishment thus far?
My proudest accomplishment thus far, my proudest accomplishment, I would have to say, is so there was a point where I reached, you know, some of the highest success that I had reached, at least at that particular time.
Gotcha.
And I was able to move my mom out of Milwaukee down here to Georgia.
Real.
And so, you know, to leave New York, you know, buy a big house in the suburbs, you know, convince moms to move down here, and she did it, you know, reluctantly.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean, stuck in our ways or whatever. But it was like we had like some of the best years of my life, and it was like such like needed time.
Real.
She passed away in 2022.
Okay.
And but like the years that we were together, like it was some of the best times, and it was really dope for my moms to really be able to see what I do and really have an idea of, you know, what I do. And she helped to motivate me to step out more and get from behind the scenes.
Gotcha.
Because I've always prided myself in being behind the scenes, being one of the most important people in the room, but nobody really know me except for the important people that need to know me. And when moms like really got a firsthand look at like what I was doing and how I was impacting lives and different people and all that, you know, she was like, nah, you need to step from behind the scenes and step out front and, you know, start talking and telling some of your story and inspiring people, you know, from that. So yeah.
Respect, bro. Respect, man. Is it better to be loved or respected?
Oh, wait, that's a tough one. So I feel like love has to come first.
Gotcha.
I feel like if you love somebody, then the love that you have for somebody will drive you to respect them and to move, you know, with respect. So, but at the same time, I don't want a bunch of love with no respect. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I love this question because there's no wrong or right answer, but as creatives, everybody has a deep dive on how they feel about it.
Yeah.
It's amazing because like, yeah, number one, you guys put together metaphors like for life, you know, you know, with the utmost. But you're saying it, you know, from love, you know, it's love first to respect. In majority of the, you know, I think I would say about Katie Gray knows, it must have been 90 to 95% would say respect. And love to drive that. You're saying love me.
Yeah. Love first.
Real.
Absolutely. Because I feel like love when things are based on love or when it's backed by love, then I feel like the respect and everything else follows suit. You know what I mean? So but I just like how I said earlier, you know, my house, we grew up humble, but there was a lot of love in the house. And even from, you know, the way that, you know, my mom, I always say like my mom was a gangster. She was a really stern woman. But one thing about my mom's was like she never cussed at me and my brother. She never like used the N-word towards us. Bro. She just never talked aggressively to us. Now she talked aggressive,
disciplinary,
but it was never towards
degrading.
Us. Right. Never degrading, never talking down on us. And that all came from love. And so I feel like the respect came from that because, you know, I respected the hell out of my moms, my brother the same way. And it was all because we knew and understood that everything that she was doing for us was driven out of love. Even if we didn't like it, even if the answer was no or, you know, man.
Respect. Definitely, bro. Love it.
Integrity.
Real.
Yes, sir.
Spitty Will knows everybody. You know, who in life in this world knows you the best?
Man, who in this life knows me the best? That's a tough question because being such a private person,
real, bro.
I'm like, man, who know me the best? I would say my cousin Cello.
This is the one in
Memphis. Yeah.
That's real. That's where you spend the summers.
Yeah. Because me and my cousin Cello, you know, he an only child, and my brother being 8-9 years older than me, I grew up like an only child. So he and I grew up as brothers, and I still to this day, I mean, he's the one person in my life I talk to about every single day. You know what I mean?
That's
so
dope.
He know me the best.
That's
for sure.
Dope, bro. That's dope. That's dope. Spitty Will, what's next for you?
Man, what's next? So we've got a lot of dope content coming, you know, from DGB.
That's right.
New docuseries called Out the Mud.
Come on, man.
Where we're highlighting different creatives, different execs, people behind the scenes.
Gotcha.
Allowing them to tell their stories of how they've amassed success and how they've gotten it out the mud.
That's dope.
Yeah, so
that's dope.
Really looking forward to that. Have shot a couple of episodes already, and it's been super inspiring doing them because, you know, I'm able to shoot these episodes on people who I respect and who I've even looked up to, and, you know, things like that, and to be able to tell these stories of, you know, how they've reached success and their drive and, you know, things like that. And even hearing their downfalls and things that, you know, motivated them to keep going. Real. So really looking forward to that.
That's dope.
I'm producing films now. So the first film, Hidden Lies, directed by Fool with a Camera, starring Trey Chaney, Clifton Powell. That's going to be coming soon, so looking forward to that. Gotcha. And then I'm about to launch basically like a new consulting business where it's going to be like branding coaching.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to basically offer people an opportunity, you know, like where we'll do, you know, Zoom calls and
gotcha.
And I'll be, you know, helping people with brands and ideas and things gotcha. Like that to form their brands and you know, do more within their marketing and things
That's
like that.
Dope,
so,
bro.
Yeah.
Who better to do it, bro? That's dope.
Yes,
that
sir.
is dope, man.
Yes, sir.
That is dope. Where do you see this brand, every brand you're building, where do you see it in 5 years?
So in 5 years, I see myself as being one of the highest sought after producers when it comes to like films, gotcha. Television, things like that. I would say in the same vein of how like 50 Cent has taken over in these last couple of years with Power and that whole universe and BMF and all of that. I aspire to be next in line, you know, within that. So being one of the highly sought after names when you see my name and it's associated with a show and, you know, knowing that's quality and, you know, that's something that you got to watch. So.
Real respect, bro. Yeah. Respect. That's what's up, man.
And then another thing also that I want to do is, you know, with the education of marketing and to these artists and their managers and things like that. I definitely want to just tap into that more and just help artists a lot more, help creatives a lot more just to understand like the power of branding and how to, you know, put their brands in the forefront and to even help other content creators to, you know, build their platforms and, you know, step into this realm.
Definitely in line. I'll be right there on the consultations, bro. Yes, I'm there for sure. For sure. Definitely, bro. Spitty Will, when it's all said and done, what is your legacy?
My legacy is a person who moved fearless and who has been willing to help other people out by any means necessary. You know, a person who is in position and who has been willing to help put other people in position. You know, again, I'm a vessel and I know and I respect like sort of like my position in this and being, you know, that person like this. Okay, like I'm at the top of the hill. All right, I'm bringing all y'all with me. All right, like come on, y'all. Like we all rolling. We all going on this other side of this hill.
Real respect, man. Respect.
So
respect. What's that one message, you know, for the young director, for the young CEO, for the young marketing major, for, you know, just a young entrepreneur watching this? What's that message you would want to give to them?
I would say to anybody that's watching, that's grinding, trying to, you know, build themselves up, build up their confidence and everything. I would say, you know, don't stop after, you know, seeing the results in the beginning. You know, like don't allow like some of the early results to discourage you, because a lot of times, you know, the difference between successful people and non-successful people is that the successful people, they started it and they kept going.
Wow.
And I feel like a lot of times we won't reach our maximum potential or we won't get to the goals that we're trying to get to because we just can't see it through. And sometimes, I mean, it's difficult. I mean, again, like I said, I'm a student of the game. I'm always learning. And even some of the stuff that I say, I have to say it out loud to apply it as well. Because, you know, it's easy to start something, want something to be successful, not see that success, and then just push it to the side. You know what I mean? But I think that you really have to like stay on top of it.
Endure.
You
really gotta endure it.
Yeah, you really have to. You know what I mean? So I would definitely say, like, don't be discouraged off of the results in the beginning. Like, keep going. Don't stop.
Wow. Respect, man. The ultimate pivoter. He makes everything, bro, for real. For real.
Yes, sir.
Man, just your story, your journey, man, is so inspiring, man. To sit here in front of you is humbling.
Right.
For real, bro.
Appreciate
like, just,
it.
like, this is, the bucket list. Like, man, this is Spitty Will. But,
Right.
And you because you are behind the scenes, you may not understand, but it's mountains of us that see, because we know for certain things to work. It's those meticulous people behind the scenes. They're like, okay, we know the work that's being put in behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I always respected that about your conglomerate, how y'all move.
Right.
Man, just blessed right now to be in front of you, man, for
sir.
sure, man.
Nah,
that humility you have, bro, is amazing.
No, I appreciate it, bro.
Sure.
And I'm happy to be here. Honored that, you know what I'm saying, that you asked me to be on your platform. And love what you doing, bro, and respect what you doing, and I'm gonna say it again, like, the platform that you're building and what you're doing is so important. And you tapping in with, the artists, the creatives, us people that are behind the scenes, and allowing us to tell our stories. It's so important, and in a way that, people feel comfortable and know that, like, you can't come up here lie, you can't come up here BSing.
Right,
you know what I mean?
bro.
Like,
that's
this
right.
is we is really about the integrity.
Yes, sir. Respect. Spitty Will, respect, bro. Respect. As tradition on the integrity response, if you can reach into that bowl, grab one fortune cookie, open it, read it to your supporters, and just like that, we out of here.
Okay, word.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference.
Wow. Bro, like that, my dad input in us growing up. Your attitude determines your altitude.
Yeah. And that is so true too, man. Something that I learned recently in therapy, like this right here is crazy, because I would find that, wondering why, like in certain scenarios, like why, I wasn't getting the type of energy that I was, hoping to get. But then understanding that, me walking into certain rooms with a certain type of energy, could then create what energy is in the room. Or if I go to the office and I'm, in a bad mood or something's off, then, my employees could, feed off of that and could feel the same way. So attitude is definitely the little thing that makes a huge difference.
Wow, bro. Wow. Real. That's so real, bro. So real, bro. Wow. Spitty Will, 2024.
Yes, sir.
It's like the beginning of your new apartment, directing everything going on, man. Like this new pivot, this new step, new chapter. Everybody open up a tab right now. See everything Spitty Will's already done, everything he's about to do. Y'all stay tuned. 2024, you're seeing a man, a visionary, limitless, he'll conform to anything, with integrity, man. This is an honor. Brother, I appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir.
For sure, man.
Yeah,
2024, man. Spitty Will, off the porch, DGB. You already know what it is, man. We signing off.
Hey,
salute.
Integrity response.
My brother.
So,
let's get it.